If you ever hear knocking from behind a locked door, don't open it. In 1983, Emily Walker inherited an old farmhouse from her great-uncle Harold. He was a man no one in her family spoke about. Her mother said only one thing: Harold never came back from what he saw in that house. Emily needed an escape from her life, so she moved in. But the moment she entered, something felt wrong. The walls seemed to breathe. The floor whispered. And upstairs, at the end of a long hallway, was a heavy wooden door with 3 rusted padlocks. Taped to the center of the door was a note that read. Emily laughed it off, probably some family joke. She made a bed in the living room and tried to sleep. At 2:17 a.m., she woke up. Her eyes opened suddenly, like something had pulled her awake. And then she heard it. Knock, knock, knock. It came from upstairs, from behind the locked door. The knocking stopped after a few seconds. Emily stayed under the blanket, staring into the dark. The next morning, she told herself it was the house settling. Nothing more. But deep down, she wasn't sure. While exploring the attic, Emily found an old chest. Inside it was a worn leather-bound journal. It belonged to Harold. Most pages were dull. Talk of crops, rain, loneliness. But in the later entries, the handwriting changed. It became jagged, frantic. She knocks every night now. I see her eyes through the keyhole. I hear her breathing under the floor. I let her speak. That was enough. One final entry read. She asked so softly. I opened it just an inch. That's all it took. Emily slammed the book shut. Her hands were shaking. That night, the knocking came again. Louder this time. Knock, knock, knock. And then, a voice. Soft. Female. Whispering through the door. Please, I'm so cold. Just let me out. Just a little. Emily froze. The voice was gentle, almost like her own. She ran to the kitchen, locked the door, and waited for morning. The next day, she tried to convince herself it was all in her head. But deep inside, she knew the truth. Something was behind that door. On the 5th night, the door didn't knock. It rattled, violently, as if something inside wanted out. And then Emily saw it. A thick black liquid oozing from underneath the locked door. It smelled like rust, blood, and rot. The house felt colder now. The walls creaked even when she stood still. She called the sheriff. He came, checked the door, laughed, and said, "Probably rats." But when he left, the voice came back. And this time, it knew her name. Emily, you live in my house now. At 3:12 a.m. that night, Emily blacked out. When she opened her eyes, she was standing in the hallway, in front of the locked door. One of the 3 padlocks was open. Her hand was resting on the second. She didn't remember walking there. She didn't remember unlocking anything. That morning she packed a bag. She had to leave. But before she could go, she heard the voice whisper again. Not from the door, but from inside the mirror. You already let me out. You just don't remember. Emily stared at the mirror. Her reflection wasn't moving. It looked like her, but the eyes were darker. The mouth curled in a twisted grin. It whispered again. We are the same now. She screamed and ran from the house barefoot. Drove straight out of town, never looking back. She told no one. Changed her name. Moved across the country. But she still hears it sometimes. Knocking. Even when there are no doors nearby. Weeks later, the officials checked the house. The 3 padlocks were still there. But the wood of the door had deep claw marks from the inside. And the mirror was cracked, split down the middle like a screaming face. No one lives there now. Locals say the house is cursed. Some hikers say they hear knocking. Some even hear their names whispered. If you ever hear knocking from behind a locked door, don't open it. Not even once. Not even a crack.